Imagine the small parish of St. Bland, whose mission statement has always been,
all are welcome.
All are alike.
No one stands out.
The neighborhood surrounding St. Bland has changed, and the parish has changed as well. It's now the place of worship of many ethnic communities. A group of parish representatives has come together to plan their annual celebration of Our Lady of St. Bland's. The neighborhood surrounding St. Bland has changed, and so the parish has changed as well. It is now the place of worship for many ethnic communities. A group of parish representatives has come together to plan their annual celebration of Our Lady of St. Bland's. The planning session is going nowhere. 3 members, in particular, are at odds with one another.
The first is Church Lady. She's the pastoral associate, and the pastor has asked her to represent him at the meeting. Because she's a really nice person, she avoids conflict at any cost. She agrees with everyone, calls on no one, and is incapable of making decisions.
The next one is Ms. Germ. Ms. Germ, of course, is the liturgy coordinator. She chairs this meeting since she's been doing this for 20 years, planning the nice generic feast of Mary. She's not open to additions, deletions, or paraphrases, and will not deviate from her script, where all the instructions are written in red. She therefore follows Robert's Rules of Order rigidly and allows no one to speak out of turn.
Mr. Almendro represents one of the recently arrived ethnic communities. He would really like to see a culturally specific image of Our Lady, the Virgin, on display that represents his community. Yet he doesn't raise his hand, and no one invites him to speak.
So keeping in mind this scene that we just set for you, we'd like you to consider some points of collaboration. One working definition of collaboration was presented by Bishop Battersby. And Bishop says he sees collaboration as a utilization of our gifts in partnership with one another to carry out the mission of Jesus in the world. Now, in this scenario we've just presented, and keeping in mind this definition of collaboration, is there evidence to you that the members of this planning meeting were carrying out this mission of collaboration? So with this definition of collaboration, the first question I'm going to pose to you deals with the scenario we've just set. So in that scenario, is there evidence that the members of this planning meeting are using this collaboration and are really working out their issues with this definition? The second point really refers to your community. In your community and in our larger church, how do we release the enormous variety of gifts and energy for the ministry of evangelization?
The second part of collaboration could talk about really communication styles and group dynamics. Collaboration means communicating with one another effectively, appropriately, and respectfully. So collaboration then is facilitated by respectful communication and mutual invitation. So again, considering the scenario we established for you, consider this. Forms of communication vary according to one's culture. For example, the use of silence, body language, modes of greeting, eye contact, expressions of emotions, and the avoidance of conflict. Do you see examples of radically different styles of communication at work in this group of St. Bland? And in an effort to be so inclusive at St. Bland and to promote this generic Marian feast, are they unwittingly ignoring or perhaps even erasing the gifts that a different culture brings? Secondly, it has to do with your parish. Running a meeting, as you know, has a lot to do with group dynamics. Beyond Myers-Briggs and Strength Finders, how can a recognition of different communication styles enable you to encourage the input and the contribution of others? What could be done to establish a different tone that would find common ground?
Another dimension addressed in this presentation and for reflection is that of intercultural communication. Robert's Rules of Order is a customary way of running meetings. But do you think Robert's Rules of Order is an effective way of running a planning meeting at Our Lady of St. Bland? Also, how does this discussion of intercultural communication change your thinking about your future meetings and other interactions with culturally diverse communities?
We hope that you'll consider the questions we posed, perhaps pause the video as you do so, and consider answering these. Father Rivers, in his book, From Maintenance to Mission, reminds us that the goal of communication is identification, release, and union of all the gifts of the parish for the sake of our mission. He singles out two elements in particular: shared decision-making and parish-wide participation. An understanding of communication styles and intercultural group dynamics will encourage, enable, and empower participation and decision-making that's shared by a greater and a more diverse part of your parish community. So we leave you with an outline of Eric Law's process of respectful communication. Thank you.